In today's $1 Million Mindset podcast, we're highlighting 2 ultra in-demand millennial products for 2017. First off, everyone, and I mean everyone, is cutting the cord and watching their favorite programs via Amazon Fire TV or Roku. DirecTV Now is the new wave of cable TV, and the game will never be the same. DirecTV Now gives you over 100 premium cable channels starting at $35. Listen, people, I'm talking about BT, ESPN, Revolt TV, CNN, ABC, NBC, MTV, Fox, ETV, Lifetime, Fuse, Spike, TV, VH1, and more. Woo! Think about this. For $1.16 per day, you can stream from your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV all day. Hashtag results and no hype. Hashtag more TV freedom. Throughout this podcast, you'll see rotating info banners of DirecTV Now. People, I want you to see their vision, see what everybody's talking about, and see why the game has been changed. And go to www.radiopushers.tv. That's RADIOPUSHERS.TV. Go to the main page and click the DirecTV Now banner and cut the cord today, and let's roll, baby. This viral podcast experience is brought to you by RAI Radio, the new voice of millennial music, and the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit. No more audio podcast, people. We viral. Welcome to the $1 Million Mindset podcast viral experience. This is Jonathan with the $1 Million Mindset podcast, hosted on the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit, power syndicated globally on the RAI radio network. We have over 14 licensed digital stations. We have over 12 artists charting nationally right now on Digital Radio Tracker. Go to digitalradiotracker.com. Check for artists like Classroom Majors, Emperor the Great, Joe Paul, and more. The $1 Million Mindset podcast highlights and showcases companies and brands and power players that are really leaving positive footprints in their communities. Everything from music, film, fashion, education, technology, health, you name it, they doing it. They are leaving a positive impact. They are paving the way for the next generation of super millennials. Today is no different. We got Chris Gotti on the $1 Million Mindset podcast. You talk about people that pushes buttons, people that build bridges, people that keep the lights on. That's what this guy does. This guy is not only a power player, but he is a teacher. He is a modern day Ralph Ellison. This guy has helped develop so many businesses, people's careers, laid foundations overseas. And now in 2017, he's paving the way for the new age millennials that want to take the world by storm via technology, via digital distribution, via health, via smart technology. This guy is at the cups. We're honored, and I mean super honored, to have Chris Gotti on the $1 Million Mindset podcast. Chris, welcome to the $1 Million Podcast.
Man, Jonathan, thank you so much. It's a pleasure and my honor to be here. I appreciate you choosing me to come on and picking me and asking me to be part of this podcast. Again, thank you. I'm humbled.
Definitely.
I need you to open up for me. That introduction is a strong introduction, and when I'm on the road, I could use you to open up for me.
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, I give everybody that Diddy intro, so I got to get Diddy on the show. I'm always saying that. That's my goal, to get Diddy on the show. So I just always give people just that Diddy intro.
He'll do it. It's just timing for him. He's just so busy. It's just timing.
Definitely. Well, listen. This is all about you, and I'm glad you're here. I want to jump right into it. When you look into the mirror right now, when you're all alone and it's just you in your place, no music, no sound, no nothing, just woke up, you go in the bathroom, and you look in that mirror and you think about your life, your career, your childhood, the failures, the accomplishments, the highs, the lows, the ebbs, the flows, threats, everything you've been through, government, problems, everything you've been through. When you look in the mirror today, what do you see?
A monster. I feel so strong today because of the trials and tribulations that I went through, the journey that I've taken. Man, the ups, the downs, everything you just mentioned, the highs, the lows, just the wealth of knowledge, and there's so much more to learn. But I feel so strong. When I say monster, I just feel so strong and accomplished. I feel like there's not anything I couldn't get done once I put my mind to it. And really, it's a great feeling of just satisfaction and still wanting more. So I'm not in a stagnated place where I'm feeling I did it. I feel so like the journey is not complete. As much as I've accomplished and been through, I just feel like the journey's not complete yet. Absolutely.
When you embarked upon 2017, December 31st, 2016, what was that night like for you? Like, how did you feel when you woke up in 2017? Like, what was the main thing you wanted to knock down this year?
So this year, so I started a new business called Adventure Music, which is a digital distribution platform where I'm empowering independent artists to own, operate, and monetize their business. So last year, for me, 16 was awareness. I mean, just to go out and prove the concept and make people aware that I'm here with this new business. I traveled about 22 cities. So this year, my goal was, after you prove the concept now, is to make it happen. So now it's the infrastructure of the business to really hone in on exactly what we want to do and now generate even more revenue, because we generated money last year. I want to generate real money this year. When I consider real money, I just want it to be automated, where you don't have to get out of bed flow. It'll be going automatically to create a life of its own, and that's what I'm in the process of doing today. So that was my 2017 goal. Very simplistic, deliver my distribution to all the artists after the awareness was done last year, and now really impactfully develop the software, the technology, so we can automate and grow as a business. So that's this year's goal for me with Adventure Music, and that's what I'm focused on. One of the things, whenever I start something, I focus on completely until it has the strength and the growth and the development, so I could actually do something else. This is right now all I'm thinking about in my career.
Absolutely. So when you talk about digital distribution and the independent artists owning their own music and monetizing that, how does Adventures make that happen for independent artists? Say I'm an independent artist, Stoops, and I'm a rapper, and I have a hot song, and the song is already doing well on iTunes, is doing well on Spotify, Google Play is doing good, and I say, you know what, I want to take this to another level. So they come to Adventures, knock on the door, and then what happens?
Okay, so Adventures, again, I am not a record label like traditionally, like with Murder Inc. we was a record label. This is different. You're your own boss, you're your own business as the artist. When you come into Adventures, you're coming for one thing, and that's distribution. And the next thing that I add, that's the main thing, the distribution, which is we distribute to, when you mention the iTunes, we distribute to over 200 locations worldwide. So it's not just, it's the iTunes over in Germany, the iTunes over in France, all the different countries. And that's what I feel artists should want. They should want their music as many places as possible to be seen or heard, so they can get someone to either stream it or upload or download it. And those are the two generated revenue streams that they should be looking at from that standpoint. The touring, and those are all different things which I have inside of this platform for artists that are active members of my platform. So I put inside of the platform, aside from the distribution, which is just one facet, and the main facet is what I have to do successfully every time, which I do. We have over 1,500 artists at the current moment right now. So at the end of the day, my next phase is services. So I have to be a service provider for them, so they could afford, at the lowest level, a bang for their buck, if you understand. Meaning, music is expensive. The music business is expensive. If you want to roll out your product like you're a Rick Ross. It costs money. And artists at the bottom just don't have the resources to do that. So technology has changed with the internet. So money has also been less of a demand in certain areas of marketing. Right now, today, we use our cell phones and reach anyone in the world, basically. And it's as simple as that. Music has to move people. So if I could take that philosophy where we can reach people and you have the right music, it gets out to X amount of people. It's up to the audience to say they like it. It's not up to me. And I created services for the lowest level to get a bang for their buck, to get the reach that they can't get if they're from, say, Boise, Idaho, or, anywhere USA. That, big cities tend to have a little different approach because they feel they could get things. They have more resources or relationships to get next to people. But the little cities have very far and few between opportunities of people they can get in touch with or deal with to get that. So my job, that was my biggest challenge to start, was to figure out how to get them services that are cost effective for their resource level, say from $100, $1,000, up to the highest level, which to me was the easy part because that's where I'm from. That's the business acumen that I'm from. With Murder Inc., I have all the relationships, Universal, and all of the people I did business with for over 30 years. I could easily reach back to them and say, hey, if I wanted to outsource you for marketing and promoting or PR work, how much would it cost? I'd make sure they're going to give me the best price. Then I pass that on to the artists to get someone that they know has been vetted out and qualified to do the work of what they need done.
That's awesome. The great thing about Adventures that I particularly like, and as a matter of fact, our whole team loves, is one word: empowerment. Your company empowers people, just like our company empowers people, because we deal with over 500 independent artists a week just from a submission aspect of wanting to get their music on radio stations. We're responsible for over 2 million streams a month on Spotify. We're responsible for over 3 million views a month on just YouTube and Vivo. So the monetization part, we preach artists having some type of setup, whether it's with spinup.com, which you work a lot with. And one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to speak to you and introduce this platform to our base was because you give the artists an extension of what they need when it comes to live shows, touring aspects, DJ connects. We handle a lot of things social media wise and stat wise. So it's almost like you're the NFL and we're the combine. So,
right. No, there's a lot of synergy of what we both do, and
I love that about that, and that's the main reason why we had Patience reach out to you to Dex Diamond and everything like that a while ago, because
DJ Lomax, when he introduced me to your platform, that's when I really took a look and seen the synergy. There's definitely synergies here.
Definitely. And the thing about Adventures, because, obviously, we do our own homework. The thing about Adventures that I like when I go to the website and I see the different artists on there, I see you pushing, get your own Vivo channel, get your own this, get your own that. But most of all, you're not promising them that they're going to be Kendrick Lamar, Drake. What you're doing is, the thing I love about the whole Gotti-isms, as I call them, is the fact that you guys let people understand how strong they are and how far they gotta go and how weak they are, which is important because nothing's perfect. There is no guarantee. There's over 22 million independent artists. And if you think about
Say that number again, please.
It's over 22 million independent artists right now.
That's right.
So that
in the United States only.
Correct. That are fighting that are fighting to be on that top stage and fighting to be the person where they say, I have real organic fans and I'm doing shows. They're trying to get their get rich or die trying moment. Shout out to 50 and everybody else that's doing it, or trying to get their Drake moment, trying to get their Ja Rule moment, where you have their Murder Inc. moment, where you just have.
No, that's the goal and dream of every artist. So you're touching on exactly why I built this business, because being on the inside of Universal and that system, you've seen exactly how these executives basically treated and thought about artists. without the artist being in the room, because we was on the executive side. So when I heard the conversation that they was having about artists and how they didn't really, it made me think. And I'm talking about years ago. This adventure music wasn't an overnight thought. This was something I thought about a long time. And then with once the internet came into effect, it made me say it could really happen now. And once the internet, because now John Doe in Nebraska could easily make a record at a very small cost,
right,
with technology, and they could actually get it put out to the world here and maybe without really any cost. And the cost of entry was always controlled by record labels. You think of independent record labels like a Rap-A-Lot Records, which is probably one of the best that ever did it from an independent standpoint, completely independent, which is Jay Prince. And with those guys, again, their level of success, we started our own independent before Murder Inc., which was Blunt Records, through TDT. And we understood the exact challenges that we was facing going up against majors in their level of control in radio and to get market share, and even just to get your CDs placed in good placements in stores back then when you had to go to Tower Records or, these record stores. You couldn't get it done because they had the control. So it was always that was the hardest part as an independent artist to fight, where today those are different. They're still in place, but not as controlled by record labels, because the powers that be in iTunes, let's say, for instance, they don't cooperate with Universals of the world or Sony. They don't like those companies. So we have a better chance, if you understand, because they're not in bed with the Universals of the world. And that is really where the opportunity lies, and that's the YouTubes of the world. They're not aligned completely with the Universals of the world. So that's why we have an opportunity when I call it this paradigm shift that happened in the industry, which is the internet, and everything came forward. Whenever there's a paradigm shift in any industry, there's a huge opportunity that follows for someone that addresses that paradigm shift. And that's exactly what adventure music is doing. We're addressing the paradigm shift that happened in the music industry. People ask me all the time about the quality of music today versus when we did it. I said, listen, the quality is only down because, in my opinion, there's still great artists today. They're just not as developed, or they're being developed on their own. For instance, a Future. If you think of Future, I always talk about him because he's an incredible artist that came out with his first record that really made some real waves was Tony Montana. It's nothing like the record he makes today that are these huge records. So he found himself as an artist. He developed, tried a new sound, kept working, and now he has his niche. And now he's an incredible artist, and he can write R&B songs, pop songs. It doesn't even matter. He's just a talented artist that found his calling, let's say, as an artist, and what his strong points are. And that's the development side that is missing. That's what we did from a record label with artists when we found them on the street. It was, he's got talent. We didn't think he had 10 albums in him. We thought we could develop him, get him in a place that he could generate 10 albums that'll be relevant and work for the audience that is listening. And that's the difference. So these guys are coming in off the street with a record or two. And then the next part is it's so saturated because anyone could do it. So you just mentioned a $22 million market share, say, artist-wise, the amount of artists that are out there trying to generate and put out music. And that's a lot of people in the United States trying to put out music. So when you're here in New York and you put a record out, how many other artists are just like you trying to do the exact same thing? How does a fan, your audience, find you in the midst of 1 million, 2 million different singles? It wasn't that many back then, just 15 years ago. It wasn't the same. So the music industry is bigger than it's ever been, but it's not monetized the same from the business standpoint, and that's where adventure music is coming in. I'm going to Uberize, let's say that, I'm going to Uberize the music industry, which means I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just simplifying and changing with the time here and addressing that paradigm shift that no one has addressed properly. Because you have companies that did it, but they only do a part of it. It's not the complete package. Absolutely. I know exactly what any artist needs. I know all at once. I probably dealt with, I don't think there's a person in the world that has spoke to more artists than me at my level with my knowledge and information. There's no executive at all that has anywhere near the amount of contact of artists that I have. Interacting, listening to music. There's no way. They wouldn't be able to be where I don't know how I do it. That's why I know they couldn't.
Exactly. People, this is Chris Gotti on the $1 Million Mindset Podcast, hosted on the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit, power syndicated globally, people, on the RAI radio network. Over 14 licensed digital stations. We have 12 artists right now charting nationally on Digital Radio Tracker, top 200, top 150 independent, and we have 5 artists charting in the top 50 R&B and hip-hop, responsible for over 2 million streams a month on Spotify for independent artists and over 3 million views a month on YouTube as well. People, we're talking to an entrepreneur, a hustler, not a hustler, a 24/7 hustler. Let me break that down to everybody that tunes in to our podcast. A 24-hour hustler is somebody that never sleeps, that constantly working and growing their brand. A hustler is someone that just says it for the moment and focus on one thing. When you talk about 24-hour hustlers, that's Chris Gotti. The guy's always expanding the people around him, his brand around him, and most of all, he's always cultivating the mindsets of the people that work alongside him. There's a difference. People working alongside you and people that work for you. Chris Gotti's about people working alongside with him. That's called real teamwork. So let me
Jonathan, we're gonna change that because this is the $1 billion mindset.
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, you know, I called it the $1 million mindset when I first interviewed Malik Yoba, because I wrote a dope article on him and I didn't know it was his birthday, and it came out the day of his birthday, and he reposted and got over 3,000 shares on Facebook naturally, and we formed a relationship with him and his team and his nonprofit group, which is Iconic 32. So shout out to the legend, Malik. I wrote a dope article, same dope article I'm about to write for you, the Invisible Corporate Giant, man. It's going to be a beautiful piece. Trust me, you're going to love it.
Thank you.
I want to jump into this right here. When you talk about ad ventures, and I'm gonna just use just so you know our audience can understand. We have let's just take the artist Stoops. You know, over 300.
Say it again. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Okay, so let's just use a artist as an example, and then I want you to kind of connect the dots for me as far as what ad ventures could do, because I really want people to understand the connection between you and the streets and corporate America. Okay, so we have an artist named Stoops. Stoops is an artist. He has a song called Freedom. His video has over 380,000 organic views, over 4,000 thumbs up, over hundreds of comments. He has over 90,000 streams on Spotify, over 1,000 sales, digital sales. The guy has he's built a very strong resume, you know, with our team.
Where's he from?
He lives in LA now on our side, but he's originally from Detroit. Definitely shout out to the D.
Okay.
But Stoops has grown quite a fan base working with our company. Social media wise, his Instagram, his Twitter, all those things are lit. He has a lot of interaction, heavy numbers, impressions, the whole nine. So I said, listen, Chris, I got a guy that is lighting it up out here. He averaging 10,000 listeners a month on Spotify. He's averaging 50,000 views a month on his video. The guy moving out here. I want to know from you, because you're not a regular record label like Murder Inc. Shout out to the legendary Murder Inc.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish because we're distribution.
Right.
Go ahead, though.
Right. I know you did, but that's what I was saying. You're not a traditional label. You're distribution. So I want to introduce this guy to you, Chris, because I know that you know billions of people. Not only you're a curator of music, but most of all, you are a curator of the art of the deal, which is all I care about, the deal. Okay. And that is what you do well. So how can you help my guy Stoops?
I'm going to say it again, Jonathan. See, this is what I get. This is one of the biggest things I get today is exactly this question. So this is an absolute great question. Everyone realizes that I'm Murder Inc. and I have relationships, and I could get them to from right where they are and walk their CD into Universal or somewhere with Sony or Atlantic Records or, you know, Warner Brothers, and get them to the person to make that decision or to say, let's do a deal. But again, that's not my business model today. Mm-hmm. So now, and here's why. I don't own it. So Stoop, is that what you said his name is? Stoop. I don't own his music. I have no ownership equity, nor am I looking for it in this model. Today, I'm about the Chance to Rap more, who is all independent. Right? This is what he doesn't need a label deal. He's moving already. Everyone wants the cheat code. They all want the shortcut. There's no shortcut in life. You're going to work and you're going to get there. You just got to be consistent. You know, it took me and my brother years to get a first break. I mean, years of my brother constantly pounding doors, me bringing him to different places to do, and at the time, to just spend. And then he just constantly grinded to get there. All I did was afford him some money at the time when we didn't have it, because I went and started working and I started giving him money. But he, to his credit, he just kept grinding. And then when he got to a point and then he started working, that it's no different for anyone today. There's no shortcut. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own story of, and there is no formula or blueprint of success in music. And it's all because it's based on music. So a record has to stimulate a feeling and emotion inside of the audience that listens to it. If it doesn't do that, I can't force it. You can't force it. Universal can't force it. If Universal could do that, they would be the biggest company in the world. Believe me, when he's working, they're looking at his metrics. They're looking at his numbers. So what I would advise him to do, if he was with me, was get those numbers. See, when you tell me those statistics, you need to tell me, again, music is very strategic. The record was the easiest part to make for us. To go make a hit record was easy. The strategy around the record, to roll it out, to get it in the market share around when it's the right time, when you're not facing Kendrick Lamar, Drake at that very moment or Future, and you want to fit in this landscape of music, it's very important because there's only so many hours in the day and so many records can get played in that time frame. There's only so many amount of hours that people consume music. How do you fit in? How do you get someone that was in that slot out that slot and now you're in there? This is all part of music. But, you know, the average artist, they don't think of it this way. This is what the executives think about. How can I do that? How can I get people to like this record? And that's marketing, and that's what you have to do. So he has to understand he has the music business moving. He has a business. He's generating revenue. He needs to figure out how, instead of spending that money because he's spending on some new clothes or whatever, he needs to figure out what's the best way to spend it back in his business that's going to give him the best bang for his buck to advance his career. And that's really what he needs to start thinking about more so than the Universals. They're not moving. I don't care who. They're not moving until they see those metrics, until they see that number. That's what the music industry has turned into. It's really like a stock market. They don't wait till your stock is rising before they invest. Before, we would take anyone and we could say we want to work with them and we have a deal. Even if it was just a development deal, just to go make a EP and see if they could become part of this industry. But we would actually get big budgets for that. So the industry is completely different now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right.
So he's doing it independently already.
People, on this viral podcast experience via RAI Radio, which is the new voice of millennial music, brought to you exclusively through the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit, we're only representing tested and consumer approved products / services. That's it. We're not flooding you with paid sponsors that have low quality products and things of that nature. We're not doing it. We're not selling out. People that are on this viral podcast experience have products that have been co-signed by the streets and most of all by the millennials. Pushers Collective Clothing, based out of Windsor, Canada. Shout out to the Six Baby and YQG all day. You got to be from Canada to understand the lingo, baby. Anyhow, Pushers Collective the type of clothing line that clearly puts you at the front of the swag line ASAP. The logo alone makes people say, what is Pushers? That's a clothing line, baby, when people actually notice what you have on. From ages 3 to 50, you can rock this Pushers clothing line and stay ahead of the fashion curve. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is close to it. All your celebrities, pro athletes, and more call on Pushers Collective Clothing to get laced. Seeing is believing. Throughout this viral podcast experience, you're seeing rotating info banners of their product. The images speak for themselves, people. I just want you to peep it out all throughout the viral podcast. The next step is for you to go to www.radiopushers.tv and click on the Pushers Collective banner from the main page and get things cooking. When you check out, use the promo code RadioPushersTV and get 10% off. If it ain't fresh, fly, or trend-setting, then it won't make the cut with our team. Lastly, go to www.pusherscollective.com, PUSHERSCOLLECTIVE.com, and get laced. Remember, in life, you either push through it or starve. Hence, the company slogan is push or starve. Results and no hype, baby. That's a hashtag you gotta use. The viral podcast experience is brought to you by RAI Radio, the new voice of millennial music, and the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit. Welcome to the $1 Million Mindset Viral Podcast. Hashtag no more audio podcast. Let's get it. And that's what I was saying with Adventures when we bring him over. I said, well, listen, Chris, I want your company to get involved to take the baton and take it further. That's what I was talking. Not so much he's looking for.
So Jonathan, let me give you my business again. So I like to tell people also, there's a company called TuneCore. Are you familiar with TuneCore?
Come on, of course, man. Definitely.
Okay, again, a lot of people aren't. TuneCore is one of the, I would say, competitors, but their distribution. Why wouldn't you do the same thing to them that you're asking me if I'm a distribution company? Mm-hmm. Why are you holding me at a different standard? Don't hold me at a different standard because you could talk to me, because you could reach me, because you could attain me where you can't attain those guys. That's the difference. And I'm getting held accountable or put on a different pendulum because I'm black, because I'm,
because you're successful, Chris, and don't mean to cut you off.
No, but that's not true. TuneCore is highly successful.
Oh, no, it's not that people
than I am right now, but you cannot get in touch with them to ask them these questions or want to get involved.
Absolutely not. I agree 100%.
And they have these relationships,
but so people connect you to a certain.
They have these relationships with all of these companies. I'm one of many. There's a lot of us out here.
But people connect you to the urban success story versus anything else.
But Jonathan, if I'm telling you my business is distribution,
right?
Why would one artist? Okay, my business isn't about one artist anymore. Murder Inc. was about, let me make Ja Rule the biggest artist in the world. Let me make Ashanti the biggest artist in the world. My business isn't that. I'm not in that business anymore. I want success for everyone. I just told you I have 1,500 artists signed to the platform.
Right.
That's nothing. I'm going to have 1.5 million signed to the platform. How can I focus on one? I can give you a formula. See, this is business. We're talking about $1 million business mindset. This is the $1 million mindset. My mindset, you just told me 2.2 million artists, 22 million artists. 22 million artists and independent artists in the United States.
Correct.
Okay. All I'm looking for is a percentage of that. Okay? And if I can make a formula that proves out, we're talking business here, we're not talking music, we're not talking about is this Jay-Z, okay, or is this Kanye West. No, right. I'm talking about business.
Gotcha.
So if we talk that, I could prove out that I could take 10,000 John Does and generate just as much revenue as one Drake. And from a distribution standpoint, not from touring or anything else. We're talking about what Drake might generate in his stream, what he might generate in his download. I could do that with 10,000 John Does. So if I can show you that formula and prove that out, and I'm just throwing a number out there, not saying that's the exact formula, but that's the mindset. So if I can prove that out, and I can prove it out, whatever that number might equal, okay? I could prove that out and say every time I hit 10,000 artists, I have a Drake. Every time I get to 10,000, so when I get to 100,000 artists, I got 10 Drakes. And I can sit there and say, you tell me what record label has 10 Drakes.
Absolutely.
And that 100,000 is a low number. So when I get to 1 million, you understand, it's just a numbers game then, at that point. That means I have 100 Drakes.
Right, absolutely. No, I understand exactly what your formula is based upon.
This is $1 billion mindset. This isn't $1 million mindset.
Definitely.
Last year, I just started. I did about almost $700,000 in revenue, and I just started with only less than 1,000 artists. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I'm not in the space of telling an artist anymore. I have all the resources, but they got to do the work. Everything they want is in the platform. They just got to put the work in. Don't ask me to do the work for you, and I don't own it.
Right. So
and I'm not looking to own it. I'm not looking to cut the deal like a record label. I'm not saying I don't want to own it. Now, mind you, I tell everyone also, Jonathan, this is my iPhone 1. So as a business, I'm on my very first version of Adventure Music. It doesn't mean I don't know where my fifth version or my sixth version is going to be. You know, just like iPhone, when they first started, they didn't think it was going to stop there. They knew they was going to get to 7 and 8 and 9, and you know,
right.
You understand. But they have to kind of feed you in a way where you understand the first step, then we can get to the second step. Because in my business model, I will get into television, I will get into movies. I already have for producers. I just can't start with all of it. What's too much? It's business.
Absolutely.
I have to feed the audience and the public one step at a time. Understand what you have here. But if you're more advanced than someone else, I'd let you know. Yes, we could do that. It's just not promoted. But you have to be the one to take the steps. Or you get some consultation from us, and we tell you, oh, you're ready to go to XYZ. You don't need to start there. We have this too. And you know, and these are all the things that is in the process of building out this platform, which will be the most dynamic distribution platform in the world, which will empower every artist that is in existence a way to own their business. Gotcha. You know, my brother has made music for over 30 years. He gets paid from the very first record we ever made 30 years later. That's powerful. And I'm showing artists they can do the same thing, no matter how good or how bad. That's powerful. When you talk about Stu, he's probably in a very low percentile of artists in the world out of that 22 million that has accomplished what he's done. So I'm not looking to accommodate that little percentage of artists. I'm looking to accommodate the bulk. Not saying I can accommodate him, but I'm just saying the real business.
Trust me.
The real business is to do it for the worst artists and show them how they can generate revenue forever in this business. Definitely. And that's what I'm doing. And that is the power. That is the empowerment that man is strong. I just had a meeting yesterday with the King and Queen of Ghana, Nigeria, and Liberia. They all want this platform in their countries. It's crazy. But I'm not ready. I told them, Your Majesty, I'm not ready to come over. Yes. You understand?
But that's wisdom.
I'm not there yet. Let me finish it up. But the empowerment that their artists that are in their countries that love our culture. You know, it's something they said to me a while ago when I was talking to them, not yesterday, but about maybe a month or so ago. And they asked me a question. I'll ask you the question. What's America's biggest resource? Right? Mm-hmm. What's America's biggest resource? You know, you go to Africa, you got gold, you got diamonds, oil, you got everything over there. That's their biggest resource. What's America's biggest resource that we share with the world?
Music.
Yes, it's music. And when you think about what that is and what that really means, this is what I'm telling you. This is $1 billion mindset. Maybe even bigger than that, but I don't want to talk that much.
No doubt.
But when you think about that, we never controlled the music that we create. That we created all of it. All popular music is us. And now hip hop, our culture is the #1 leading generating revenue culture of music in the world, period. Hip hop, not any other form, is in every part of the world. and you're telling me we shouldn't have the equity of that and pass it on to the people creating it and stop letting someone take it? No, you can't make me think any other way. It's time. You know, everything has a beginning and an end. And it could be the beginning and the end of a record label because they can't adapt, right? Evolution is proven. If you can't adapt, you become extinct. It's just that fact. So the reason they can't is because they have to own that intellectual property, which is the record you create.
Definitely.
You know, artists don't understand what intellectual property is. I tell them, you're an intellectual. We are all intellectual property. We are all one of one. Really, when you think intellectual property, just think you're unique. You're the only one that it is. So when you create a record, it's yours. That's why if you create a record using someone else's record, it's called a sample. You're sampling that intellectual property, and guess what? You have to pay.
Always. I want to go into the membership into Adventures. Can you give us a little bit of detail about the membership as far as once they come on board, just what's maybe like a few of the features and things that come with the basic membership?
Okay, so when you go into this space of digital distribution, there are lots of competitors. There's certain things they all do. They charge you to put out product. Okay, every time you put out an album, they charge you a single or EP. They charge you to maintain your music to stay out and be distributed throughout these different channels, right? They charge you to keep your stuff on iTunes, basically, or Spotify, Google Play, wherever it may be. Mm-hmm. They charge, and if you don't pay them, they pull it all down. You know, and then so distribution. These are all the things why, in my opinion, Adventure Music is the best dollar value out, period. I charge $300, one-time, lifetime membership. If you don't stay active within a 3-year period, you're what they're considered dormant. And if you put out a new product, it's 3 years and 1 day later from when you first signed up and you never put out anything, you have to reinitiate your membership for But I look at everything I'm doing in this business from an artist's perspective. So when I say that, if you didn't give me a record in 3 years, more than likely you moved on or you're not an artist anymore. It's that simple.
Absolutely, I agree
right?
with that. Yeah.
So I put a timeline on it that it really, I'm like, if you don't give me a record in 3 years, you're not an artist, or you went somewhere else. It's no problem. So I didn't even take it and try to make it short. So if you have to keep putting out product, that's 3 years, that's plenty. If they don't give me a record by then these are the two scenarios. They either moved on or they're not with me. Or they're not an artist anymore. So at $300, one-time fee, a lifetime membership, and what that gets you is access to all the services that I have. If you're not part of my team, my Adventure Music community, right? Because I also create an artist community, which is no one else has done that. I also promote every record that comes out on a Friday. No company will do that because they don't have again, if they don't own it, they don't care what you do. And that's the approach they take, and that's why I get defensive, because everyone wants me to feel the connection of each artist, and I'm like, I cannot. That's not my business model. And if I was, John Johnson over there and, at a different place, you wouldn't even ask that. But because it's me, you asked it, and it's not fair for me from a business standpoint. And I'm doing way more than any of these other companies. So, and that's proof. I can prove it. I can show you. So we also promote. We reach currently about 5 million people when we release everyone's product. So for $300, you're getting about 5 million people reach to actually get to see or hear your product. That's worth way more than $300. I guarantee you that.
No doubt.
So, and then they always put in a subscription where they want you to pay every month so you could do something with them. And I said, I will get to a subscription-based business, but it'll be optional based on whoever it is, and it'll be something that'll be so valuable that you're going to say it's well worth the $20 or the $30 that I charge. It's just that simple. And I have it. I just didn't put it out. I just don't like to give so much information at one time. You understand, John?
Absolutely. People, this is Chris Gotti on the $1,000,000/Billion Mindset podcast, hosted on the Talk to Shaylin radio circuit, power syndicated globally on the RAI Radio Network. over 14 licensed digital stations. We have over 12 artists charting nationally right now on DRT, responsible for over 3 million streams on YouTube, and Vivo over 2 million streams on Spotify. We are the new voice of millennium music. We're talking adventures, we're talking empowerment, we're talking ownership, we're talking branding, we're talking globalization, we're talking this is what Chris Gotti does, people. Chris, I want to delve into this part as we go into the fourth quarter of this interview, just the last part. On a day-to-day grind, are you 18 hours a day working, 19 hours a day working? Kind of give us a brief snapshot of your grind.
You know, people don't believe me, but I tell people I manage the biggest poker player in the world, Phil Ivey. Google him if you don't know him. He's an amazing guy. He's from New Jersey. He's young. I think he's just turned 40 years old. Black. And he's not only the best poker player, he's probably the biggest gambler in the world. Okay? So I've done things with him. And the reason I bring him up, he lives in Las Vegas. So when I first, almost 15 years ago, I'm managing him now for 14 years. Almost 15 years ago, people are like, how you manage a gambler? So many ways. You know, we cut deals in casinos that people have no clues about. We make money walking in the casino doors. So at the end of the day, I met him through Winky Wright, who was the middleweight champ of the world at the time.
Shout out to Winky.
And we were gambling at the Bellagio, and we met. And I told him, you need a manager. He laughed and said, okay, let's meet tomorrow. We meet up the next day, and I started talking about the things I could do for him. And the guy said, no problem. Let's do it. He fired his agency, which is IMG. He was with IMG. I had no clue he had a big agency like that already. He fired his guys over at IMG, and he comes signs with me. And he started calling me. I'm in New York. He's in Vegas. He's calling me, and it's, let's say, 3 o'clock over there, so it's 6 o'clock. We're in New York, and I'm picking up the phone. He's calling me at 12 o'clock, and it's 3 a.m. here, and I'm picking up the phone. He's calling me all different hours. Whether he planned or not, he said, man, do you sleep? He said, you always pick up the phone. I said, you testing me? And at the end of the day, I told him I only sleep maybe 2-3 hours a day. And he loved the fact that he could always get in touch with me. So he flies right now. He's over in China and Hong Kong and Thailand, because the Asians, they're the biggest gamblers. You know, so that was one of the things. So when you ask him about sleep or rest, my body's been acclimated to this since, man, prior to Murder. Like, when we was grinding, before Murder Inc., I was doing construction. I own my own construction business, so I work construction at daytime and studio all through the night, right back to construction. And people was like, how are you doing? I really almost burned out, though. I did it for about almost a year and a half before I couldn't keep up. But literally, that was a rough time. But it was like, my body was acclimated to that, and I'm able to exist and maintain and keep my mind sharp with very limited amount of sleep. And I know doctors say it's not good, so I do try and rest now. But I'm still 3 to 4 hours a day, and I'm back up and I'm working, and I'm always on. You know, I'm never off weekends. You know, I'll be with family or whatever. If I get into something, I jump right out of it back into business. And, you know, my kids and my family, they know who I am right now.
Gotcha. I want to delve into your team. Describe the team that works alongside you.
So my team is, my executive team is unbelievable. I don't know how I assembled such great talent. And my staff that works with the company, that does the lay work, man. I have guys from, like when you mentioned, I believe you mentioned Dex earlier. Dex is someone that's been with me for close to 20 years already. Loyal as can be, and very super smart. He's my marketing director. And in the marketing space, he's doing so much. It's unbelievable. So his talent is there. And like I said, loyalty is the main thing. I love loyal people. I give people opportunities. So I show them my stance and my level of commitment to them, and I expect to get a return. And usually I get it for the most part. My percentage is pretty high. So I give opportunities. So we have a service providing business here. So if someone provides a service that is needed for artists, I'll let you be part of this platform. And I could start sending you clients once I vet you out, get to know you, and things of that nature. But I'm blessed with my staff and my executive team and my staff. I don't know if you want to go into name by name.
Oh no, I was just talking about your team. Yeah, I mean, just a brief description of your team, just the synergy levels and things of that nature. That's all.
Yeah, I brought in a marketing firm and a technology firm, or the person that runs technology, my CTO, someone that came from Viacom, and someone that used to run business affairs for Universal, and my sister, whose accomplishments speaks for itself as long as she's been in business independently. Me and her was partners from early on, and she also came in with the Murder Inc. run. She ran a clothing line, and she also runs several other artists' businesses. Like, I don't know how she does it, how much time she has in a day to do everything, but she gets it done.
Absolutely. I want to go into this part.
Women work hard, man. I'm telling you. Oh man.
Hey, listen.
Women really work hard. I'm telling you.
Their passion is natural.
I'm so pro woman in business. So any women listening, if you see me, believe me, I'm so pro woman for business, because their dedication of what they're doing is far to me, for most on the average, it's typically better than the men's. Dedication.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because passion is so natural for them because they're mothers. So
exactly,
that's the natural thing. How can people reach you on social media, and can you give out the website name for Adventures, please, very slowly?
Sure. So for me, I'm at Chris Gotti 187 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And my Adventure Music website is on Instagram. It's ADD, because I'm putting ventures together. Ventures with S, VENTURES, music, MUSIC. I'm sorry, Adventures Music, and you can go to that handle.com, and that's the website. We're in the process of building the app that'll be on Android and iPhone very shortly. That's what we're doing now, because that's when we're fully automated. When that app is up and ready, and you go right, that's when we're fully automated, and I'll be able to handle 22 million independent artists and counting.
Well, listen, on your next app, I definitely want you to roll with us on your next app. We got you covered, man. So the next app you build, make sure you ring my line, because we want to build it for you. The thing, and just to brag on you for 30 seconds, the thing I like about you, Chris, if I had to just sum up this whole interview and sum up this experience with you, one word is authenticity. You're so authentic with your approach, your mindset, your ability to connect with people is just ultra premium authentic, and I want you to know that we appreciate that here at our parent company, Servo Media Group Inc., New Hype Beast Media Group, and also for RAI Radio as well. So I definitely want to get with you offline when we talk about doing another mobile app for also launching AMX TV for Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. We would love to do a streaming partnership with you guys and launch you guys a channel.
Sure.
And do that
sounds great.
Yeah, man, because that's what we do. We got over 30 channels launched. We are the new Viacom. That's our hashtag, because our ability to launch viral content. So, and people stream our content from the Amazon Fire TV app. They stream it from our website. They also stream it through our mobile app. So, we've built over 300 mobile apps. So definitely I'll get with you offline about that, so we can discuss that, launching that AMX TV. And that's Adventures Music TV. That's just a short code for AMX TV. Yeah. So definitely want to talk about that. What have you enjoyed the most about being on the $1 Million Mindset podcast today?
Man, honestly, this was a great platform, Jonathan. And again, thank you. Again, Lomax, I'll thank him for connecting the dots for me.
Shout out to Lo to the
while you're in while I'm in the middle of running around, sometimes it takes someone to stop you and say, "Hey, take a look at this." If you understand what I mean, because that's really how I am. I'm constantly going right now, and I'm just moving. I just came from South by Southwest which is an amazing run out there. I was there for the tech side of it and the investor side with the brand. Then I stayed for the artist side. So it was the whole gamut, and I mean, it was an incredible run. I met some incredible people, but just as far as this platform is concerned, the knowledge of information that you actually took the time out to learn about what I've done and things, I appreciate that the most. Like, you know, when you talk to people and they don't really have an understanding of your business or know what you're doing, you're like, okay, someone told you to get me up here, but you didn't do the homework, if you understand. So I really appreciate that you did your homework. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, you know, we're honored to, anytime that we interview people, we always do a full feature digital magazine article on them. That's why the cover story that I'm going to personally write, Invisible Corporate Giant, is a perfect title for you.
Oh, everyone's waiting. Just so you know, on my end, everyone's waiting to hear the article. See the article because I posted the cover.
Cover is crazy. Shout out to Noez for the cover. The cover is crazy. You know, Noez.
Yeah, so everyone was like, "Where's the article?" They want to hear it. Don't worry.
Definitely. Well,
I do the interview on Friday and said the cover was just generated before the interview.
Exactly. But you know, definitely, like Noez, he runs our digital chaos unit. That's what we call it, because our approach is so different when it comes to graphics and branding. So I want to give a shout out to him. But, you know, when you see this article, and just to kind of give you a 20-second snapshot, when I write the article, it's literally a movie. So I let the readers know where I'm sitting at currently, what I'm drinking, what I'm wearing. It's a whole thing. So it's like when I wrote for Diddy. It's a whole experience. So your article won't just be like what you see in other blogs, and it's like a mini book. And trust me, you're gonna love it, because Invisible Corporate Giant is who you are. And we're gonna be doing more business and talking more things offline. But I just want to say, man, we're super honored, man. This is like one of my favorite podcasts. I mean, I love all my podcasts, but just from a business model wise, because of what we do with having so many radio stations and having so many Spotify streaming partners and having so many outlets with Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV, we mesh so well with your brand, and we definitely want to start pushing your platform to our artists. And, you know, of course, we can discuss that.
I appreciate that. That's so much. That's love. Thank you. I didn't even get to talk about it. I did partner up and buy, I believe, 25 internet radio stations right now. So I understand this space. You know, I'm the program director for our parent company, which is Highly Unique, based out of Atlanta. Highly Unique Radio.
Hey, I'm very familiar with Highly Unique. Definitely. Very familiar with it.
Yeah, so, you know, we do media base, we do BBS, and again, it's with internet, with 22 million independent artists, they need a place that their music could be heard or seen, and that's what I'm trying to give them a platform for, so they can get to these things. Exactly. And that's really the main objective. Like I said, everything I do with Adventure Music is about one thing: what does an artist mean? And I tell my entire staff and team, like, what we're supposed to be thinking about is how do we empower an artist? I don't want to think about, we'll make more money. I don't want to. It's going to self-fulfill because we take care of ourselves, because we take care of every artist. Definitely. So it's like, and that's all I have to keep reminding everyone. And I proved the formula out already. It's just now getting the tech side completed and become this fully automated application for digital distribution that'll be unmatched by any other distribution company in any business.
Definitely. Well, we're honored to have you on the podcast. Definitely looking forward to knocking out your article for next week, getting that over you for approval. And any final shout outs you want to give out to anybody?
I just want to let all the independent artists know, Adventure Music, just check us out. I'll let my record and history speak for itself, and the product that we have speak for itself, because I get testimonies from all my artists that over 60% of my artists come from other platforms. Okay, so they was already on those other platforms, and they can't get someone to talk back to them or get a response to them or anything like that. So they love Adventure Music so far. So again, at the end of the day, I love just keep saying it, because that's my job. That's what I have to do. I have to deliver that product. So I just want everyone to let everyone know Adventure Music, we're here, and it's about this digital distribution for all your needs and services that you might want.
Well, listen, man, all our artists, everybody that comes to us, you know, we definitely going to be pushing your distribution, and we definitely going to have it set up where, you know, like where we have advertisement banners on results.
But we can talk more in depth offline about that, John.
Absolutely.
There's a huge opportunity there for you guys.
Definitely.
In the way I structured my business for all affiliates that come in that might help move the needle with the acquisition of artists and bringing them in.
Yeah, people, this is Chris Gotti on the $1,000,000/billion Mindset Podcast. We discuss everything from the history of his roots all the way down to Adventures Music, digital distribution changing the game. Definitely check out his website. Just hit him up on Twitter and Instagram. That's Chris Gotti 187 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, super honored to have you on the podcast, Chris.
Man, Jonathan, thank you for having me.
All right, man. Take care. God bless.
All right, now.
Perfect.
AT&T knows the best kind of holiday is the kind where everyone gets what they wished for. Make this holiday extra happy when you buy one, get one free on our most popular smartphones. Like the Samsung Galaxy S6. Buy one, get one free. So spread some cheer and capture every minute of it.